a maximum of 25 readers. So if we all take 4 minutes, that should be plenty of time to be able to get a couple of poems out and or a piece of flash fiction. I've put if you see in the chat, I've put the running order that we posted on the internet. If everybody's up, I've tried to bear in mind people's connections. So I put there's a little note next to Randy's, just below Randy's name there, which is runs right and release. So what Andy does is he very kindly sends me, I didn't mean to put that in, to be honest. He sends me notes on people. I mean, he does do it, but he sends me notes on people like, this fella, new, first time reader from Nottingham, or, this is a bit of a drunk from Ben Shields, so get him off quick. That type of that type of thing, So anyway,
Steve just like to say Eve's not here, she's working.
That's right, mate. Well, I've got her down. Is she running late, mate, or is she not coming?
She's not gonna. She's just texted us.
Okay. So I mean, it's quite okay, mate. That's a shame, anyway. So if she can't make it, she can't make it. If she makes it the second half, we'll put her on. Yeah. So as you can see, then Martin is he's going to be first up. Then, if that's okay with Martin, he's going to kick us off. And then Mary, and then we'll end the first half with Rich, or I might put somebody else on there if that's okay. Maybe put Mike Booth on, because Mike's not next on the list. So I can put Mike on there. If you excuse me a second. If you yeah. So in terms of muting, I don't know what Andy wants to do, so I'll leave that to him. I mean, usually, I don't bother muting unless I have to, unless I know there's going to be a bit of background noise. So just sort of, if you can, but what do you do? What do we do, Andy? I forget. Do we tend to, do you mute people, or do we leave it to them?
Yeah, I think it's, personally, this thing is, you find normally, if you can, mute yourselves. Obviously, I'm always a believer, chat in between the poems. You want to put a comment at the bottom, or put a quick comment, saying something afterward, that's fine. But obviously, during the poem, try and get the noise down, because it's that one bit of noise I find, to get a bit of static somewhere, it can really throw a person out. Okay.
Well, yeah, people have been, sure everyone's done a Zoom or 17 since lockdown. So, so we know the drill. If there's going to be a bit of noise, just mute yourself. If not, then don't bother. Obviously, use the reaction thing and everything else. But I'm teaching people how to suck eggs here, because you've all done it before. So we'll get going. I notice now on the participants we've got 23. So fantastic number. Maybe get one or two more. I think they were due to read. Without further ado, as I say, 4 minutes max, please, including any preamble. For our first reader tonight, welcome to Martin Elder. Thank you, Martin.
Hi. Okay. This first poem has got a vague sort of Easter feel to it. It's called The Weight of Man. Normally, the heavy weight of man lies cold upon his chest, that which is carried between skin and bone, the very thumping piston pump whose dragging heels and cogs seize up when in distress, that which rolls under clouds of black and thunderous waves, sweeping and brushing between great heaving breaths which bring him down inch by inch. It is now, when all the good fight is knocked out of him, this heavy man of weighted chest and soul will surely drown, for as my confederates will state, this one is mine, despite the fact I've already paid the price, you will hear him say, and with each and every step he takes, he draws ever closer to the place I have for him, with furnace flame and coal-choked vein, where he will stoke the fires of eternal slow and lingering pain. And yet this one would seek to cheat me of my prize. The father of all others has destined him for something else, I surmise, for I can find no waxen corrupt and melting flesh, no craven soul of mouldering sin. Rather, there is a light from within which he basks and does not wish to hide a part of his well-known past. There is no deep and darkened dungeon place where he would shelter unforgiven thought or deed, no regret of words said in haste, no curse nor vow upon which he has set his stall. Indeed, all that he's done to date, despite my ever-ready plea, he has sought to ignore and bidden me begone. He is a rare man indeed, one of a kind from which no mortal should accept a card, for he is of the like, never seen before, only talked of in dreams and scriptures past, carried in the minds and hearts of those who are the children of he who cannot be mentioned without threat of eternal damnation and wretched curse. So I must leave this place to he who is always right and seeks to do the Father's pleasure. He has risen, dressed only in the brightest of shining white. Therefore I will bid farewell, for I must turn on my heel and say adieu. Until next time, perhaps, time or not. Goodbye. Okay, this next poem is called The Lonely Empty Tides of Mascara and Men. It is here, among the stacked stones and kicking waves, I find my moving picture show, as I sit and watch the rising and setting of great giant burning suns. My eyes are alight with the blazing slinky waves of shooting star colours, of fireball swells and tall tales that grow inside me, waiting to burst out. As I watch the kids with campfire talk and cider giggles who run and dance, kick and scream with delight, leaving me with empty bottles, stubbed out cigarettes, and the shaky early morning sky of uncertain smoky grey. The secret whispering water washes over the sand and my toes as I walk and stretch and yawn and smile to the crazy moon and the beaming waking sun, whilst the words that I use to draw and paint fill my thoughts like clamouring children let loose from school. And I tell myself I should return to my cell, but the music of wind and the waves pull me further in, away from the grave of my bed with its greys, browns and mascara black. As I feel the spray across my ready cheeks, and I am me, and I am free, and I thank God that nobody can take this slice of now away from me. Thank you.
Thanks, Martin. Thank you, Martin from Stockport. Thank you for, according to my notes. Thanks for kicking us off there, mate. Some nice rhyming interplay there. Thank you. Well done. Okay, next person is, I put it in the chat. Yeah, our next reader is Mary Cunningham. Welcome, Mary.
Hi, everyone. You might hear loads of birds. They're fighting in this pitched roof that I'm in. They're fighting in the nest outside. So sorry, that'll get in the way. Okay, I've got two poems for you. One is called Chasing Cars. She started first, made sure she was watched. Her soft expertise at the wheel. Accelerated cautiously, sped up on the long stretch. Liked giving him the impression she was leaving him behind. And when he stayed at a distance, she frowned. Willed him to catch up, gave ground. At the town, she took it as a sign that no one had slipped in between. Gave him a look in the rearview mirror, then pulled off with speed. Sunlight shone in her lap. She shifted, looked back less, felt his rubber, finding her tracks. Okay, and to a very different theme. This one's called Under the Ocean Floor. One night, years after her death, she came to me. A weight on the bed, the circling and lying down. She woke me. And when I turned, I could feel a warm breeze flush cheek, a jowl, a cold nose, face rub. She shined of fish and the seals of the sea. Her ears were folds of silk and satin. She wagged because I was there, nudged my elbows up in the air, barked. This is not usual, this is not okay. She stared at a fire like you or I, pushed the shape of her face through my limp hands, more when I pushed her away. I let go of winter's water, sponged tears into her, the slow oil coaxing her back, as if this was the night it was her last. I still call for her at the door. Her name rolls and rolls. It's buried in a seabed, no more than a pea. We splash once more at a silted shore. Then she shakes herself free. Thank you, thank you.
Thanks for that, Mary. Yeah, as good as ever. Great style as well. Lots of words with. As I was listening to it, I realised that lots of words with monosyllabic or no more than 2 syllables. Just sort of just nice and easy. Well, you made it sound easy, but great deal of skill in that. So thank you very much. Our next reader, I've got this guy on now because he has internet problems all the way from Holland. It's Ben Willens. Welcome, Ben.
Hello. Yeah. Okay. Well, I've got a poem. One poem. Like, if you can see this, this is what I've been trying to write a poem about. It's a sticker book, football stickers from 1982, football 82. So it's something my mate got me a few years ago. And it was the first one of those.
I'm never quite sure with Ben whether this is actually part of the thing.
Steve Archibald, Mike Duxbury, Ricardo Villa, Minerva Supreme. Oh, right.
Ben, your internet's gone, your bandwidth's gone very low here, mate. Try knocking your picture off and just do it as your audio, mate. See if that fixes it for you.
Ben, shall we come back to you, mate?
Shall I start again?
Yeah.
Okay, it's football 82. Mike Duxbury. Okay.
Shall we just? Has Ben gone to? I think he's gone to sort himself out. I think he isn't really from Holland. Well, he is from Holland, but he's coming from Chorlton.
Hello.
Are you back? Hello, mate. Ben, listen, mate, you cut off. If you can hear me, we're going to move. We'll move on. Okay.
Can you hear me?
No,
Can you hear me?
No, you're really draggy.
Can you hear me?
Now, perfectly, yeah. I've heard Mike Duxbury a few times and then it goes off, mate.
Okay, no worries. Yeah.
All right. I'll move on and we'll come back to you later, mate. Okay. It's a shame, really, because Ben's obviously he's got a unique style. Highly entertaining. See if we can get you back later. Okay, folks. Okay, without further ado, we'll move on to somebody who's a new reader. He's reading from Nottingham. It's Chris Campbell. Welcome. It's the first time I'm speaking.
Thank you. Thanks. So I'm going to read a few poems and quite a few of them are around lockdown. So the first one's called Catch Light. We soak up rays, the last of evening light, in a small corner of our courtyard garden. Our restless cat at the window pawing at green flies. A flower pot and sunshine guards the back door, while our well-watered hedge slumps into the neighbour's garden like a nuisance guest who's overstayed his welcome. In the quiet, but for the sound of traffic, I imagine the hedge shouting profanities at neatly pruned wall climbers who were minding their own business. The buttons on his drink-stained shirt popped like mini-corks, revealing a pale pot belly. Our flower pot reaches to the heavens. I envisage her rolling her eyes all high and mighty on top of her clay, ordering a taxi to speed up the hedge's exit. The cat has left the windowsill and preens. I look for shears. And the next one's called Hurdles. Wind speeds across our patio, dragging the cardboard sheets our newly moved in neighbours sit on, a substitute for garden furniture, unable to be bought before the lockdown. Now sheets lift and fall as if completing a hurdle race. Hard edges hit the ground like tired competitors slumping in heat. The beaming sun is social distancing far from us, a crowd of one watching from on high. Its glare affecting the competition like a constant iPhone flash. Still intact with a few knocks, cardboard taps a window, as if not wanting to self-isolate either. And the next one's called Cages. Not a lockdown one. We laughed at Hackney City Farm, pointed to animals in sunshine. I held your elbow, all you'd let me touch, but that felt hopeful, as if our bones connected through the thin cotton of your white summer dress. Our light hold, almost primal, laughter released from cages. And I've got one here called Yellow Dress. You pose in a yellow dress on a heated patio, smile as cool as teen, it resists the midday sun. I want to pause a minute as you stroke your curled dark hair, for a lockdown seems forever without your beauty there. Olives sunbathe in their oil, swelter side by side. Our hedge slumps over brick. An aged window pipes out before. I sweat still, burning this to memory. You glisten like an asanga. Dress draws me in, a gentle tide, curves soft and lemon.
Okay, Chris, thank you for that, mate.
Thank you.
Yeah, some great stuff there, and the way you left it hanging as well a few times. It does throw a live, it throws an audience sometimes, that, but it's not to worry because it's not supposed to always. I don't have to end on a clapton, you know. It's some nice sort of understated endings there, so it's fantastic stuff. So I hope to see you again sometime. Yeah, well, that's in Nottingham. Are you from?
Close to the city centre, Castle Boulevard. So okay. Yeah, close to Beeston in the city centre.
Beeston, okay, yeah, I know that. Yeah, okay, mate.
Cheers.
Okay, we're slightly out of sync, but not to worry. We'll go back in sync now. Our next reader is the wonderful Gordon Zola. Welcome, Gordon.
Hello, everyone hear me okay? Yeah.
Superb.
Yeah. Yeah, I've struggled today really because I wanted to do some writing, but I had to go food shopping. And Eve said to me, she said, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "What's wrong with me?" I said, "Town's to the left of me, Bolton's to the right, and here I am stuck in the little with you. Yeah, stuck in the little with you." Apologies to Steelers wheel there. Yeah, it's the only bit of humour in my set, that. So, because I originally wrote this years ago, really, but I've rewrote it and rewritten it and updated it for what I think is more pertinent now, which is it's called Lament 2021. My innocence was lost as the decades sped past, swept from life's summer by winter's icy blast, with dinosaurs destined to devour the dove. Money shouts louder than the whisper of love. Dreams of proud fathers lie dormant in their sons. Their songs of protest have evolved into guns. Countries in conflict, dissected by doctrine. Religion's the issue. Is hatred the option? Can you taste the blood of battle? Can you hear the siren song? Is this the world you wanted? Is this where you belong? Do you dance to the drum of dogma? Do you trust the tyrant's tongue? Is this the world you wanted? Is this where you belong? A drastic demise in the national health, sacrificial lamb on an altar of wealth, and the baying of hounds to increase the armed forces while the country's stripped of its natural resources. They robbed and conned us with their one-size-fits, vaccinating minds with their spirits of the blitz. Blackmailing mantras have taken their toll. They've got your balls, they're after your soul. An opt-out clause was the final factor. No human rights, no social chapter. A step out of Europe on the rungs of the poor. Third world economy, cheap labour galore. Blame the state of the nation on the food bank mother. Ignore the homeless. You can inform on your brother. Ignore injustice. Take it in your stride. Up on the carousel. You'll need a passport for the ride. A lockdown child will never comprehend why wearing a mask is a means to an end. Why ties once binding lie shattered in dust as friendships flounder on that tired myth of trust. What can I tell you when you ask for reasons? Why does the changing guard outrank the changing seasons? How can I start to tell you when I don't understand why brother kills brother in a strange sounding land? Can you taste their blood of battle? Do you hear the widow's song? Is this the world you wanted? Is this where you belong? Do you dance through fields of carnage? Do you care who's right or wrong? Is this the world you wanted? Is this where you belong? I've told of my pain, all the things I deplore, but the future's still ours. Its wonders to explore. Let's learn from life's lessons. Embrace your feelings. Let love unlock hate's chains of bondage by healing. Then you'll taste the wine of wisdom. You'll sing salvation's song. We can create the world we wanted, a world where we belong. We'll rise unscathed from the ashes, freed from tyranny's tirade. We can build that world we wanted. That first brick has just been laid. tonight. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Thanks for that. Something a bit different from you there tonight. A bit weightier. So thank you for that, mate. Okay, next up is Penny Sharman. Welcome back, Penny.
Hiya. Hi, everyone. Last year, in the summer, I found a huge dragonfly in my garden. I've never found one before. And it was called a migrant hawker. So I've written a poem, Migrant Hawker. It's Monday morning and I'm stretching my wings, Anos Petera style, my head just eyes, all seeing. All the books tell me I've been around for years, but it's only today I can feel my buggy bugness, my need to be heard by you, printer of words, so that my songs can fly near water, in the air, beside human footprints. I have a reputation to keep up, a perfection, my art of flight. You know I love my sister, water, water, water. Oh, how we dance together. There's a melody stuck in my length. It holds a refrain. Life is short, life is short. I only fly for a few short days. I know my image is stuck in your psyche, on Hopi rock art, Pueblo necklaces. Oh man, I love my mandibles. I know I can't bite you, but I can bug you, I can buzz you. Call me by those other names, horse stinger, devil's darning needle, ear cutter, but please remember my beauty, my need to be me. That's that one, thank you. So I thought I'd read you this one. I hope I haven't read it before. I should start writing down what I've read before because I can't remember.
Let's just go for it. It doesn't matter. Really,
I can't remember. So this is it's kind of a climate change thingy about water. Elephants know about water. They smell it from miles away. They can live for 4 days without water. Elephants dig wells with their trunks and tusks. They bathe, swim, and wallow in water. Elephants know about dry riverbeds, drought, and thirst. I've been told that every raindrop that falls on my face comes from the stars, that water is finite, a roller coaster of wetness recycled in clouds, seas, rivers, and lakes, in every living body. Elephants know about water. They know nothing of comets and stars, that humans live for 2 or 3 days without water, that we cannot smell it from miles away. As a child, my mum bathed me in the kitchen sink. I swam in the river Windrush, surfed salty water in Cardigan Bay, loved thunderstorms and torrential rain. I drink water. I'm mostly made of water. Moon magnets give me tides and tears. Somewhere on earth, it's always dry and barren. Buckets are carried to wells and back home again. I do not use my bare hands to dig for water. Elephants know about water. Thanks so much. Thank you.
Thanks, Penny. Thank you for that. That was fantastic. Thank you for that. Someone said, Vandy, fantastic, Penny. She pinched my word. That was fantastic. Thank you. Okay, next up is a guy, a poet who I know he's watched Speakeasy before, and he read for the first time last month. It's all the way from Oxford. It's James Ridgway. Welcome back, James.
Thanks, Steve. So, inspired by Sam last month, I wrote a poem for the NHS and put a bit of a personal spin on it. So I've written a poem for my sister, who's been working as an A&E doctor for the last year. Paging Dr. Ridgely, it's your brother here. I write to you today, now the end is near. I want to let you know I am very proud for the work you do, fighting COVID's shroud. I wish we did more than clap and you had better pay. At least we got a chance to meet on your wedding day. We got to have a moment when we were free from fear. Then Boris came along and pushed it up a tier. I know that the new normal is a different thing for you. You engage directly with this fatal flu. It is fortunate indeed that your heart is good, as you make decisions that I never could. Our parents are so nervous for your safe return. They study all the briefings to see what they can learn. It is understandable being your front line, but I am so confident that you'll be just fine. And when it all is over and there's no more track and trace, I will pick you up in my brotherly embrace. To you, I wish I had been better in my misguided youth, but I really love you, and that's the honest truth. So the second poem I'm going to read is a poem I wrote a couple of months ago for a friend that's no longer with us. And if I get a chance to read again, I promise I'll try and pick some cheerier subject matter. For you, my friend of youth, the darkness came too quick. You passed into the twilight, a time you didn't pick. What I had never told you was about the beating of my heart, and now there is a great divide that will keep us both apart. You have gone to that dark place where mortals cannot tread, but my words that cannot change, so I'll remember you instead. But I feel this guilt, it soaks like summer rain. Well, if I had acted differently, would I see my friend again? But for all that we did love you, you were on your way, and despite your self-destruction, we still miss you every day. That I could have stopped you would have been too much to expect. And as I write these final words, I find my symbols incorrect, because you have not gone beyond that fatal winter snow. And the ending of our friendship was not 5 Julys ago. And when I close my eyes, I can finally see that you've not really gone from here. You'll always be with me. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for that, James. I mean, it was, you tried, you used full lines throughout. And, I think you really pulled it off. I mean, nothing sounded as though it was shoehorned in. It was really, really effective. I think the poems just got stronger as you went on with them. I mean, rhyming track and trace with brotherly embrace is pretty good, mate. So, so respect you for that. Well done. Hope to see you back again sometime, mate. Yeah. Okay, our next reader runs a night himself in New Mills, and I, for one, hope to be getting across there when the weather, well, not when the weather gets better, when we're allowed, really, and when it's safer. So it's lovely to see him at Speakeasy. It's Randy Horton.
Thank you. I have 4 very short ones tonight. The first one is about suicide in April. Most of mine are about mental illness tonight, so sorry to be a downer. April is always a spike in suicide, so I always try to bring attention to it. April is cruel indeed, with its rising tide of suicide and blossoming despair brought forth a new light. Depressed in dormant winter, the desolate wakens spring with new vigor and determination. This time will be different. This time the noose tightens irrevocably, no sloppy winding to bring reprieve. Permanence is at hand. Or perhaps the gun, carefully cleaned, oiled, and loaded, offers an oblivious eternity in response to momentary sorrow. The world wakes in April, and we set to the unfinished task of autumn. We shake off slumber, only to sleep again. That's that one. And the next one is called Cold Comfort. It was probably just allergies, she said. Just allergies. I was schizoaffectively depressed. I was suicidally depressed. I was dismissed by the word just. But maybe she was right. Maybe there's a causal link between allergies and depression. Maybe it is just inflammation that leads to suicide. Maybe when people drown, they take comfort from knowing it is just water. That's that one. And the next one's called Out from the Shadows, and is about being in a relationship with someone with bipolar disorder. And I should say it's not autobiographical. I'm not in a relationship like that at the moment, but anyway. In a liminal space populated by penumbra, you emerge, the hyphenated woman, bifurcated, the perfect dichotomy. I was captivated, no, captured, enthralled, ensnared by your charm, or was it mendacity? Polar opposites, two poles, or bipolar, it's confusing and dangerous, and I don't fit between Scylla and Charybdis. That's that one. And my last one is slightly different. It's, I don't know why, but I ended up writing something about Plato's allegory of the cave. And so this is it. He preferred the softness of darkness and the whispers of shadows, where the sharpness of danger lie obscured and blunted by failing light. He was comforted by opacity, planning eternity at the bottom of a cave, moored to the floor and wrapped in illusion. All went as planned for a time, until someone known to be wise descended into the cave bearing light, revealing the jagged and unyielding truth. He and the others immediately recognized the threat and raced to extinguish the light. If this is the face of knowledge and enlightenment, let its head rest on a pike as a warning. And that's me done. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Randy. Some excellent stuff there, mate. Comforted by opacity, so that's great. Okay. Thank you for that. Our next reader is Maria Flaherty. Welcome back, Maria.
Thanks, Steve. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, nice and clear.
Lovely. Thank you. I have two poems to read tonight. So I'll make a start with the first one. It's called Bubbles. The soapy spheres of magic, entertaining generations, chasing liquid rainbows, a timeless fascination. But bubbles change their colours, and new meanings taken hold. We live inside our bubbles, just doing what we're told. The space inside feels tiny, getting smaller over time. The smell of suds gets stronger in our disinfected lives. We've not forgot the rainbows, homemade spectrums signal hope. We look forward to our yesterdays when bubbles were just soap. That's the first one, thank you. Thanks. The second one is work related. So I've been on maternity leave for 14 months. The whole remote working is new to me. So I'm 4 weeks into work and it's just getting used to back team meetings all day. So it's about that. Some of you may relate to it. It's called Let's Take It Offline. The long walk from the station has soaked your clothes right through, drying at your hot desk with a big brew, nicely stewed. Rustling raincoats make an entrance as the office starts to fill. We share our morning journeys, cars and buses standing still. People rush to meetings, the traffic's made them late, throwing coffees down their necks, the toast will have to wait. Holding steady phone and printouts, squeezing past the queue for lists. Today they'll do the stairs, breathing hard through cramp and stitch. As you sit in warm pajamas, remote working from your bed, hearing rain against the windows, you want the office life instead. It's not at all expected. You dreamed of days like this, but a year of pixel faces, it's the people that you miss. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Oh, some great stuff there. Serious thing in the second, underpinning it as well. But that soapy, soapy spheres of magic, which is your first line of the first poem, is super line. So, yeah, thank you for that, Maria. It's great stuff. Our next reader is Speakeasy organiser, guy who does a lot of running round to make tonight happen. It's Andy N.
Hey guys, it's been a great night tonight. I've got to say for a start, Maria, as a person working from home himself over the past year or so, I can well relate to a lot more piece there. Now, okay, I've got a couple of bits and pieces to read tonight, so I'll jump straight into this. First one is, and that's at least one of my couples pieces, and this one just got published in a South African poetry magazine as well. And this is, and you all know who he is, so I'm not going into this. Homage to Bagpuss in Hove. Was it that third or fourth night, Sarah, during that month we lived in Hove? My agent paid for us both to move there temporary. That second summer we were together. And we stumbled onto that singer playing alongside the coastline at the start of dusk. Do you remember him asking, pausing in between songs? Can he even play an auto harp or a mandolin? At the edge of the beach, a cup of hot chocolate, barely keeping his aged fingers warm. I grew up watching it like you, although I couldn't begin to name any of the songs. He played one after the other, rather the name of Bagpuss's friends, from Professor Yaffle to the mice on the mouth organ, to Gabriel the toad and mandolin. I see the singer's face even now, harmonica in his mouth, playing a melody, song of the flea, and Charlie Mouse weaving, before eventually finishing with a bonny king of nowhere, opening up the curtain to an unexpected love. You didn't get it, I should have seen, in the ash-coloured light, finding the nostalgia too strange, pausing for a few minutes, as if listening to something else, before hurrying on as before, underlining the differences to us both, that I only realised after you had gone. Okay, right. I'm going to do a very quick haiku now, and I'm going to do a quick bit of flash fiction to finish off with. So anyone who's paid attention to my account will know at the moment I'm doing a load of haikus for Natural Poetry Writing Month on Haiku of Life. And this is what haiku a day for every year in my life. So I'll do 48 of them in a month. It's going to drive me crazy. So a quick one is 1979. This was the year my brother was born. So this actually happened to me when in the hospital, first I met him. You fell on the floor, running to see your brother shortly after born. That one's done. Okay, and I'm going to do some flash fiction to finish off with. Very, very short piece. Okay, a couple of you know I do a very informal writing workshop with several people here, actually, in Amanda. And this one came out one of the writing exercises the other week. So, interview as a hired killer. When you were told the job was to become a killer, you weren't sure what they were on about, considering the job description hadn't mentioned anything like that, stating exciting new development wanted for experienced sales professional. It is a joke, you said eventually after pausing for a few moments. I thought you were a salesman or sales manager. Mick, who had spent the last hour interviewing me, shook his head. This is a very different kind of sales role. We work with a mid-sized team, but we want somebody who would literally be a killer in the role above them. And how many people do you require to kill? You answered, shocked. Only the people that fail to meet their sales targets. Isn't that a bit extreme? You're making it sound like a work in hell. Stranger should mention that. The horns began to grow out of Mick's head. And that's me done, guys. See you later.
Thanks, Andy. Good mix. Haiku and poem and flash fiction. Thank you for that, mate. Our next reader is Antonia Pizarro. Welcome back, Antonia.
Oh, thank you. Hello, everyone. So I've got three pieces tonight. Obviously, in true Antonia fashion, they're mainly miserable. So we've got a bit of grief. We've got a bit of my tricky relationship with my dad, obviously. And then to lighten things up, we've got a bit of dancing at the end. So this is the first one. This is called The Grief. And this is for two friends of mine who have recently just lost someone that they really cared about. This is called The Grief. The grief bound them together, drawing them into themselves and into each other so that neither were distinguishable as separates. Limbs affixed limbs, kidneys and livers fused in fetal throwback, they cried sadness all down their faces. Frown lines deepened and filled with sorrow. The emptiness so big it filled tomorrow and the day after that and the day after that and the day after that. The emptiness so heavy it sat on their lives and crushed the air from lungs that used to fill and empty with ease. Darkness underlined their eyes, which no longer saw the tunnel nor the light that shines at the end of it. So forceful is the pain, too persistent is the vacuum, so harmful is this grief that binds them together. That's the first one. It gets marginally more, I mean, it doesn't get jollier at all, that's a big fat lie. This is called Man at the Top of the Hill. There's a man who lives at the top of a hill. That his house is almost impossible to reach when the snow falls is not unintentional. That the hill is too steep to climb when the sun is hot is also not unintentional. The warmth of the summer bursts the skins of the tomatoes and he lies still and quietly, letting the rays burn his flesh, but he has the right kind of flesh, so he never reddens. He basks in the silence and the emptiness, the king of his castle. Unfinished gates bearing his initials, protecting his empire, but what is the point of gates when you are unreachable in the first place? So as the oppressive heat of August wilts the trees and sours the fruits and scorches the ground, he sits atop his sun lounger throne, wearing a crown made of loneliness and sweat. And then my final one is called The Dancer, and this is based on actual true events. It's 2:47 a.m. and I've woken up with a clammy back. My heart that was beating too enthusiastically when my eyes opened is now funeral marching in my chest, repeating the question that pulled me from my rest. What if the last time I went dancing was the last time that I would go dancing? I can't imagine a time where I'd get to the end of the night downstairs in a sweaty club, jammed close to writhing bodies. Abandoned handbags at the side of the room, no murmur of worry that my keys and purse would still be there when the music stopped, just optimism and joy and life radiating from my fingertips and rushing into my feet, the smell of strangers, the feel of foreign hands on elastic hips, the push of air from someone else's mouth, the knowledge that you have no control over the shapes your body makes, the patterns in the contortion. Rushing to the bar when a song you can probably live without rumbles underfoot, then abandoning the cue when the pull from the tune is too much. Your tongue desperate for the moisture that clings to your top lip, but to miss this next beat isn't part of the deal, so you dance. Like your limbs are barely attached. They move in such mesmerizing ways and you can't believe it's really your brain that's creating this wildness, this freedom. And your skin prickles under the touch of strangers' fingers as they trace your shapes with their hands. Thank you. The end. Drink.
Thanks for that, Antonia. Great pace to it and great rhythm, you know, and I noticed Mary liked the line about loneliness and sweat. So I do like to use a concrete noun and an abstract noun together, you know, always works. Well, often works, and you made it work. Okay, got a couple of more readers this half. And next up is somebody, a guy who's been to Speakeasy on possibly now 2 or 3 occasions. It's always been fantastic. It's welcome back to Rich Davenport. Just unmute, Rich. Rich, you've unmuted, mate, but for some reason we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Fantastic.
Brilliant, no worries. Right, gibberish. Poems of extreme gormlessness. These are from my book Gormless, which kind of lets you know what you're in for. This is a kind of a medieval love song set in the time of the Black Death, because people must have still got romantic then, despite the plague. And there's a couple of phrases in this which I'll point out, and they might come in useful. One is piss a bed, which isn't actually an insult. It's a medieval name for a dandelion, but I think it makes a great insult if someone's lazy. You bone idle piss a bed if you've not done the hoovering. And merkin, which is a pubic wig. I mean, these days people are shaving them off. Back then they stuck more on. Maybe that was to do with the plague. Did they fall off? Did they experiment with comb overs? We may never know. Okay, this is called Thou art still a comely wench despite thy pox and plague. I bring thee a bouquet of pissabeds to sweeten the stench of thy plague, though thine ears have dropped off and thy fingers are few, on my promise I will not renege. I bring thee a pouch of fine spices from shores that are distant and foreign. I bring thee a merkin of weasel fur to replace that bedraggled old sporran. Though thou reeketh of old shite, for as long as thou livest, my love for thee will remain strong. After all, now thy pox is so widespread, I don't think it'll be for too long. Thank you. This next one's a crime saga inspired by the Sweeney. It's called Interrogating Daisy, or When Cows Go Bad. Mrs. Mocare, large and green, tell the coppers where you've been. Done a bank jog, pulled a blag, come on, spill the beans, rat bag. Mocare lights a fag and shudders. I ain't talking, tug my adders. Banged up, but soon escapes with ease, bribes the prison guards with cheese. She gallops through the prison gates to where her getaway car waits. Driven by her twin sister Myrtle, Mukau jumps in and off they hurtle. Sirens scream, police give chase as Myrtle drives at breakneck pace. Mukau puts on a sly disguise, false mustache and ping-pong ball eyes. She knows now there's no turning back. This cow is on the lam. Traffic's at a standstill up ahead, but it's a roadblock, not a jam. That's why Mukau is in disguise, and so too is her sis. Myrtle spots a lovely bridal gown. What a rare beauty she is. Mukau puts on a top hat as they stop at the roadblock. The cops know which car they're looking for, but instead, they stare in shock. They expected criminal heifers, armed and dangerous inside. But look, a handsome bridegroom, radiant new wife by his side. Hello, officers, smiles Mukau. We've tied the knot this afternoon. We're heading to the airport to fly off on honeymoon. Bewitched by Myrtle, buxom bride, the sergeant takes the bait. Take care of your enchanted wife. Be on your way, don't hesitate. And so Mukau escaped the law. She still remains at large. Runs an exotic cheese smuggling ring. Ruthless and violent. She's in charge. Now, from your lips, you must make sure her story never passes. Because if Mukau is you blab, you'll find it's true that cows eat grasses. And if she gets her hooves on you, you will meet your demise. And just like Mukau's milk, you'll see your whole life flowing past your eyes. There you go.
That's great. Great reading, of course, Rich. Brilliant, brilliant accents, great words. Fantastic. Thank you. Okay, our next reader, I'll read after Mike. I've got a couple of short poems, and then we'll have a break, and we'll put the running order up. I mean, basically, it's Sam, Don, Ant, Susan, Amanda, Esther, Reggie, Belle, Steve, Mingo, and Tony. But I'll put that up. Hope I've not left anybody else. Okay. So next up is Mike Booth. Welcome, Mike.
Thanks, Steve. Follow that, eh? I think we should have a break after that one, really. That's so bloody good. All right, so two short ones. I wrote this one, I think, last summer, and it's an acrostic. So the first letter spells out some words. I'm not even going to tell you what the words are. And it goes like this. Mostly, I find that integrity suits me. Kindness, compassion, and empathy let me be the best me. But oftentimes I fall behind, overwhelmed and overthinking, Overextension takes opportunity. Temptation stands, hampers my struggle to be free. So that's the first one. And I'm putting on the chat a picture. Hey, well done. Well done, Antonia. So if you want to look at this picture, Amanda Beck McKinn was on, I think, the last Speakeasy, and she's done lots of graphic art about lockdown. And I think the link that I've sent you will lead you to a picture that she's done, a graphic art picture of Oxford Road Station, if you want to look at that. And she's inviting poets and writers to contribute to a book which is going to be coming out. And there's a crowdfunding. I think she's already exceeded her target on crowdfunding. So it's Amanda Beck McKinn. And this one is about Oxford Road. I used to travel to Wigan and Widnes for about a year. So I stood on Oxford Road Station many a frozen November and February morning. And that picture struck a chord with me because it looked so different from how it used to. And this is a one about that. I've just called it We Can't Backtrack. In the icy wind, saplings on platform 4, which once held forests, copses, and so many more. She looks into another's eyes and tries anew to find the smile behind the mask. We can't backtrack, still don't know what's down the line or when a change is due. So we wait and check our phones, as we have so much of late. Spring opened up and we stopped time. And few trains come now. The clock stopped at 7 minutes past 9. The day the point switched to slow from fast. An icy blast of fear blew down the line. And only hearts and minds stayed open. Bars, clubs and towns were shut. And shops. As infection spread, a sinking sense in our gut. A drop. The platform edge so close like an abyss. Who would have thought it would have come to this? Like signals, fingers crossed, many saved and some lost. Art and free thoughts make our connection, and only all together will we defeat this infection. Our human spirit this dark day defies. Just open up and be together, that is all I ask. One day the world will bud, smiles replace sighs. Laughter lines will flood as we discard the mask. Thank you. It's about the third version of that one, but it's working really. Thanks a lot.
Okay, Mike. Thank you for that. Excellent stuff. Okay, I've got a couple of short poems, and then we'll have a break till 9 o'clock because we're on according to my watch, it's 20:46, so it should take us to 20:48. It's a poem called Never Done. I suppose it's because nothing ever is really. Never done. I borrowed a pressure washer from Dad, who used it to clean his false teeth. Its intense jet splayed the tulips in their beds, swirled the yard's muck so it stuck to the hairs on my legs, splattered the patio doors black, while the cat cowered under the shed. In the sun, the flags gleam white, showing the brick walls on two sides, not hidden by bins, me pointing. Our second poem, it's called Keeping Up with the Joneses, and it was something I came across. It's a story from Hello magazine online, which I'm an avid reader of, and the story headline was exclusive. Strictly's Katia Jones makes rare comments about ex Neil Jones and lockdown dating, and it's a sonnet. The Strictly Come Dancing stars who split and shot plans 2 years ago still speak well of each other, making me green because my ex-wife doesn't even return my emails since the kids got big and it's her time now. It's just as well we didn't have any pets to keep up with the Joneses who co-parent a dog called Crumble, while Neil has one of his own, Chorizo, who Katia sometimes holds. Maybe I'll get a four-legged friend to stave off loneliness, because Katia says it's important before you date to take the opportunity in lockdown to find yourself. And I'll ponder on that in the park while I throw a ball and yell, fetch, quinoa. Thank you. Okay, folks, thank you. And we'll have a break. We'll break it there, and we'll get back for 9:05. That'll give us 15 minutes, and we're doing well for time. So thank you, everybody. Cheers.
all just waited for you to come back in, Reggie, and then we've all come back.
I know, it's like a bunch of kids hiding. Welcome to my world.
Have you got your drink ready?
I've got my drink.
Drink!
Drink!
What cordial?
Oh, I'm telling you what's going on.
Doing it the wrong way around.
You've gone totally reverse.
Yeah, typical. After she's presented, she's no more alcohol. You will need alcohol for my presentation.
I like the fact that you keep calling it a presentation.
No, you've been overworking, Reggie. It's not a PowerPoint, is it?
Oh, yes. It involves ponies and unicorns. And zombies.
Mike, don't tempt him. He'll do it as a full presentation next time, interactive presentation.
I love unicorns, but I'm not good with zombies.
Zombies on unicorns.
Well, I don't think Amanda's got any zombie pieces tonight, have you?
No.
No zombies. I can't guarantee that everyone's going to survive in their pieces.
I don't think there's anything that does.
Get out of here. Nobody dies in their pieces tonight.
One of the chat box has turned Esther into Esther Kosh. I don't know if he's going to knock anybody on the head.
Penny, are you in the naughty corner now?
I'm on the floor.
I was gonna say that. What have you done?
I'm on the floor and now I've got a jumper on, so I like
I'm on the floor.
Wait,
to get into the first
you
half.
drunk that much if you passed out on the floor?
Yeah, that's why she stopped drinking.
That's as far as her hand can reach. The drink.
My chair is really uncomfortable, so I'm sat on the floor. It's a bit more comfortable. On a cushion.
I don't know. I better write his order down. Steve's hasn't done that.
Okay.
Good
Listen
sound.
to that fine brew.
Do you want to know what was going on then?
Hands up.
I saw Steve pouring it.
And now for a second, I was like, what? Antonio's on the floor. I can hear somebody weed. This is a wild night.
I didn't say that.
It's not that bad. It was only one can.
I made a mistake putting Reggie on near the end.
Schoolboy error, Steve. You know how he gets after the second half.
Steve, remember last time we put Reggie on near the end? You were drunk by the end of it, so it was perhaps not the best idea.
Exactly. I've mixed it up a little bit. I mean, like I put Steve on first because I'm mindful of the fact that Steve's been on last, I think, 2 or 3 times. So I've just mixed it up a bit. I hope that's okay with people. So it's Steve Mingle, Sam Rapp, Don Dolby, Tony Kinsella. I lost Amanda Steele, Susan Darlington, Belle Kenyon, Esther Koch, Reggie Agula, and Ant Briscoe. Try to think about like people's and the styles.
Oh, bloody hell.
Have
Well,
I,
it's good job you mentioned that, Steve. I didn't notice.
all right, mate. If that's so, I mean, I'm happy. I'm sort of happy to put you on at the end, but it's
I'd
just
be delighted to be on first while I'm still marginally sober.
yeah. Well, I've just thought I'd mix it up, and then you know, and you kick back.
Watch it up.
Need to get your prop sidekick ready again, Steve.
No sidekicks tonight. No.
Shame.
Yeah, I don't know whether Ben, if you're still with us, mate. I'm not sure, but send us a message. Yeah.
Oh, poor Ben.
Maybe try to work around the technical limitations next time. You know.
And where is Ben now? Which country is he in?
No, I don't know.
Cholton was another country.
In his own sphere, Ben. In his own world.
Right, so he's still here. Great.
Brilliant.
Right, Ben.
All right, that's good to know. That's good to know.
Maybe you should type it, Ben.
Well, exactly. Yeah, just a haiku or something. You know, a couple of. Yeah, exactly. All right then. So, Steve, to kick us off, welcome back, Steve Mingle.
Thanks, Steve. Hi, everyone. This is a particularly silly one, so apologies for that. I didn't actually see it myself, but a few weeks ago there was apparently some sort of interview on television which attracted a huge amount of publicity. And afterwards, there were a few folk on social media suggesting it might be a good idea if the royal family and their hangers-on, or should that be hangers-off, went on to the Jeremy Kyle show to try and settle their differences. Now, I can't abide Jeremy Kyle and the concept of his show, and I've never taken even the slightest interest in the royal family. But I have to admit that programme is something I would pay good money to see. Now, not that there's anything wrong with this. If any of you have got a collection of Wedgwood plates depicting royal weddings in your front rooms, then you might want to nip out and make a cup of tea for the next 3 minutes. I've tried to visualise what this special edition of the Jeremy Kyle show might play out like. This is called Televisual Feast. 2 years have gone by since Jeremy Kyle last darkened our screens with his programme so vile. He was pulling legs off spiders in his palatial home when his agent excitedly got on the phone. You wouldn't believe the public demand to see Big Betty Windsor and the rest of the gang. So I've been on the blower to ITV, who've offered to cough up an astronomical fee if you'll come out of retirement for just one show. And for that kind of money, how could Jezza say no? The trailers ran for night after night and whipped up in the public a huge appetite. Is Meghan a bully? Is Charlie Boy racist? Who is Harry's dad? Are all Andrew's mates rapists? They finally assembled in Studio 5, each hoping to bury the others alive. Meghan's chance came first, and how well she took it, shedding enough crocodile tears to fill an ice bucket. It was just like they'd taught her in drama school. But not everyone was so easily fooled. The Queen said, "Fuck me! This is worse than X Factor. She's feigning sincerity like a crap D-list actor." Meghan recoiled in horror. "What do you mean, D-list?" To which Betty replied, "Well, we don't have an E-list." "And just listen here, you jumped up prima donna. Much more of this, and you'll soon be a gunner. Fill the Greeks on the warpath. Don't say I didn't warn you, so you'd better piss off back to California. Because if you keep behaving in this diabolical manner, he'll hire a French taxi driver, like he did for Diana." Jesus said, "Calm down, Your Majesty, or can I call you Bet? Do you remember the moment when you two first met? Yeah, she breezed into my gaff with the distinctive odour of a narcissistic shallow freeloader. She said, 'I'm mixed race, don't you know?' Well, I just had to snigger. That'll be 1% sponger, 99% gold digger." Harry sprang to her defence like an obedient pup. "There's no need for that, Gran, just shut the fuck up." Betty cried, "Hear that, Charles? Your boy's right out of line." But Charlie said, "Why should I care? He's not one of mine." "Don't you remember? His real dad's been paid off and he's vanished forever, because that was the trade-off. We gave you a chance, boy, and you bloody well blew it. You'll spend the rest of your days as plain Harry Hewitt." Harry leapt from his seat, incensed and outraged, as security leapt up from the side of the stage. Jetta said, "Stay where you are, lads. This is pure TV gold," as Charlie Boy's headbutt laid Harry out cold. Charles said, "Who else wants some? My right hook's a killer. I practice it every night on Camilla." As a TV spectacular, the show had no equal, and the bosses insisted, "We must do a sequel." But Jezza said, "No way, I just couldn't risk it. We've had some right tossers on here, but this lot take the biscuit." Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks. Harry Hewitt. I got that anyway. Not a loyalist, are we? Thanks for that, Steve. Good way to kick us off for the second half. And our next reader is Sam Lapp. Welcome back, Sam.
Hi. Hello, everyone. Great to be here. I've got a longer poem and a shorter poem, hopefully. So this is called A Day of Reflection. Has it been a year, the 23rd day of March 2020, when we were still bringing in cheers, good health and another new year? We were booking holidays, making plans. Then we heard a screech of brakes under moving soil, a tumble of elephants coming to a halt like a Disney show. We all shouted, "Oh no," a day of reflection. There were reports in faraway lands where people's faces were hidden, wearing masks, gloves on hands, staggered families, businesses with shutters down, closed, no entry signs on doors. And a long way away from our lands where bunting was shared on windows with 3 letters, NHS. This is England, I heard people say, as they scurried out of offices from the 9th floors. Gyms, restaurants, nightclubs, bars closing. Socialisation was ending. A day of reflection. Lockdown was announced. New words, COVID, corona. I thought this was beer. New regulations to adhere, masks of many designs, rainbows in skies, queues at cash tills, loo roll and hand sanitizer. A new economic boom. Hey, but we can all use Zoom. Those with Netflix, Amazon watched films every night. Action, romance, comedy delights. We were running, cycling, children on bikes, going through forests day and night. To be outdoors, smelling the freshness of resting trees, birds singing, beetles and frogs dancing with bees, streets silence. No roaring engines from mopeds, cars and planes. The earth was healing again. Clean rain falling, a day of reflection. Chemists open for essentials, makeup and shampoo. Supermarkets had marshals with bibs on, as well as doctors, nurses too. A new word, key workers. A front line of battle zones of death and destruction in our homes, families pulled apart with broken hearts and bones. Theatres, gigs cancelled, even Edinburgh, my shows. The hustle was empty and shops had plenty. Mass scuffles for clothes. And homelessness was eradicated apparently overnight. Blankets provided for those divided. Food banks feeding professionals who normally shop at M&S. A day of reflection. We had Captain Tom to brighten our day, even if mourning those suffering, those recovering, those in social care, where there are faces of shadows on windows shouting, "Mum, we care." The music of children's resilience, laughter and reading books, doing schoolwork from home. Your mum and dad, lorry drivers, now teachers, missed exams, some strife and talked to friends on Snapchat, not in parks, that's life. A day of reflection. Look on the bright side. No posh suits, thinking about what shirt goes with what, trousers or skirts. No ironing, as we're all in joggers, can put washing on, clean the house as we work from home, so long as the tech works, we're not alone. No travelling on delayed, packed motorways, although some may be alone, furloughed, some lost jobs, struggles with mental health and mobility. No need to rush for the train or bus being late again, as we can work whilst we're in bed. Now that's a day of reflection. I'm having a duvet day instead. I've got a very short poem called My Mermaid. My mermaid is still. She, he is made of red clay. My mermaid smiles every day. My mermaid has half a tail with many colours and patterns. My mermaid is beautiful. It's good to be different. That's just her, him. Natural and beautiful in every way. Being unique, now that's to be celebrated every day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you. Excellent. And, you know, really fabulous second poem in particular, just in my humble opinion. So thank you for that. It's great to see you again. Okay, our next reader is, the next reader is Don Dolby, and Don also runs a night in Buxton, beautiful part of the world. The joint highest town in the country, I think, with somewhere in the Lake District, whose name escapes me at the moment. Sure, Don, you know, when everything's safe, I'm sure, Don, I'd love to see you at his night in Buxton. So welcome back to Speakeasy, Don.
Thank you, Steve. Yes, certainly everybody will be welcome once we get up and running again, which hopefully won't be too long. Got a bit of short fiction and 2 short poems, if that's okay. Some of you will remember that I have conversations with my cloud sometimes, that personal cloud of melancholy that lives just above my head. This is another one of those little conversations. One evening this week, I noticed one of those glib slogans in the corner of my television screen. Let's get talking, or Britain get talking, something like that. It made me think, but maybe not in the way that they intended. Now, I talk to my personal cloud sometimes. That's a silent conversation, of course, just the way I like it. You don't really like talking to people, do you? My cloud said. So, well, I replied, it's not that I don't like talking to people. It's the chit-chatty stuff I don't like. Making conversation for the sake of it. What some people might call small talk. Now, that's an interesting phrase. Small talk as opposed to big talk, perhaps. So you're happy with this lockdown then? Asked my cloud. Well, yes, I am really, said I. It means I can keep in touch with people without the effort of going out to meet them. That's a bit curmudgeonly, said the cloud. Well, not really. I probably exchange opinions, views, emotions, love and friendship much more digitally than I ever would have done before. Even telephone calls are found to be a bit of a chore. Now, writing a letter, that's the ultimate act of friendship, perhaps. My cloud looked puzzled. So you appreciate writing a physical letter, but you welcome the digital exchange by text, email or posting? Yes, I said. Both allow remote exchanges with your friends and family. But texts and emails take the beauty out of language, surely, said Cloud. Not if they're sent by me, I said. I write all my texts, emails and posts as if I am writing a letter. A couple of short poems that I've written recently. This one is something I've always done to some extent, but as you get older, you increasingly do it. I think it's called Contemplating My Mortality. Contemplating my mortality, my daily normality and impending cruciality, the long eternality and wondrous ethereality, after creeping graduality, leaving life's hospitality with relaxed informality, inevitable logicality, a little musicality and less minimality, reducing my vocality, playing with my mentality. No more nationality, no more personality, no more physicality, won't need my rationality or my sexuality, no use for my morality in death's dark totality. Here is the actuality, just a technicality, confronting the reality, savouring the cordiality, accepting the finality, facing the final equality of death's exquisite neutrality. This is one I've written over the last couple of weeks, and I'm a little bit apprehensive about tackling this, the subject matter, but I'm just going to read it and hope it works. It's called Privilege. I have white privilege. I don't want white privilege. What do I do? An accident of birth makes me different from you. I cannot shed my skin any more than you. What can I do? I cannot share your pain I cannot gain. Please tell me what to do. I know it is for me to change. It is not for you. Can we learn to change? How long will it take? How do we make it happen? Can we make it happen? It is for us to make it change. It is for us to make it happen. I don't want this privilege I'm given. Through all our hearts it's riven. None can really be free until we are all truly free, and from our hearts it's driven. Thank you.
Thanks, Dom.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, mate. Good spread of stuff there. That's great. Thank you. Okay, next reader is a highly entertaining Tony Kinsella. Welcome back, Tony.
Yes, thank you very much, Steve. Thanks, everyone. It's a real pleasure for me to be doing something like this online platform because I'm a teacher. I teach English in Salford, so you can imagine how different that is. I said to one group the other day, can somebody put in the chat box something you're not very good at that begins with B? And somebody put spelling. I said, forget about that. Give me 3 adjectives that describe you. And somebody put lazy. So here's some points from my little red book, so-called because hardly anybody's ever read it. And here's a haiku especially for my mate Andy. First you write 5 words, then add another 7, then 5 more. The end. I watched a long film about Buddhism. It was really, really crap. That's 3 hours of my life that I will eventually get back. Don't know much about history. Don't know much biology. Good evening. I'm the new Minister for Education. Red and yellow and pink and green, purple and orange and blue. Man, these pregnancy tests are fucking complicated. I knew our love was precarious when I mapped an astrological graph because I was a Sagittarius and she was a lesbian psychopath. I bought my niece a jigsaw for Christmas. She plugged it in and cut off 3 fingers. She came from Greece. She had a thirst for knowledge. She studied sculpture. Now she works at McDonald's. I may not always love you, but as long as there are stars above you, so that's at night time then. I love you at night time. I did that one to a physics graduate and he said, there's always stars above us. It doesn't matter whether it's night or not. And I learned something that day. Never do your poems to a fucking physics graduate. I nearly started a new world war the last time that I sang. It was in a karaoke bar and I murdered Franz Ferdinand. War. What is it good for? The enforced removal of despotic regimes, the realignment of allied contingencies, the patriotic fervour of a disillusioned demographic, and the imposition of a people-centric caretaker administration. But apart from that, absolutely nothing. This one's called Zoo Poem. I phoned up the zoo and made high-pitched noises. My call was recorded for training porpoises. Reasons to be tearful. She hit me with her rhythm stick and said I couldn't organise a piss-up in a brewery. It was so cruel of her, adding insult to a jury. And I'll end on a political one to the anti-maskers. You said it steams up your glasses. You said you might wear one later, but I don't know what use a mask is when you're stuck on a fucking ventilator. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks a lot, mate. Yeah, got a lot in there in 4 minutes. Brilliant. Yeah, I know what you mean about the glasses steaming up thing. It's just drives me crazy, you know. Right, next up is sorry, just let me bear with me. I've been scribbling all over this. Yeah, next up is a poet from, I think I've got this right, and that's a poet from Leeds. It's welcome back to Susan Darlington. Welcome back, Susan.
Thank you. It's great to be back with you all again. I've got 3 shortish poems for you today. The first one is called Forgotten Song. I read an article a while ago about the regent honeyeater, which is a bird that's kind of on the brink of extinction, to the point that the young birds now are forgetting how to learn to sing their own song. So some scientists have been playing them recordings of the adults in the hope that they will remember who they are. So that was the starting point for this poem. The honey-eaters fell with notes on their tongues, with songs still bubbling up from their throats. We tried to pull scores out of their gullets, to release the melodies into the too quiet air. We tried to finger the holes notched down the shrinks to relearn their calls. When we failed, the half-remembered lines descended into a cacophony of caws, squawks, croaks. Mother tongue forgotten, there was no one left who could read their minds or look into their hearts and translate the babel into which they wanted to say, which was for, which was. Thank you. This next one was written as part of a project called On Mother, which is about women's experiences of not having children, whether that's through choice or otherwise. So this is called The Art of Childlessness. The art of childlessness is a matter of semantics. It's not about being childless, although it's certainly true you'll never hold a newborn who has your own green eyes, or have a daughter you love with such tender fierceness you'll want to lock her in a tower away from the world's cruelties. It's not about being less of anything. It's about being child-free, free to spend time dancing until your heart like dawn, finding your own rhythms that are giddy, raw and real, knowing that no matter what, alone, you are complete. Thank you. And this last one is, I don't think I've ever read it before, but it's from my upcoming chapbook, which will be out later this year, from Selkirk Station. It's called Treehouse. The rungs on the ladder become cramped in his grip, the weather-worn wood creaking as he climbs to where I wait. There's hardly enough space to sit, the house holding us womb tight as we tuck knees under our chins and scuff our toes on the wall. The stale air holds the memory of warm lemonade in beakers, of comic books that are sticky with sugar mice and toffee fingerprints. Yet there's no taste of sweet on his lips when we kiss in the stolen time before the school bell rings. There's no scrape of a glass bottle being spun, or of dares being accepted with nervous, mouth-covered laughter as the back door bangs shut. And while his young daughter, whose voice rises from the garden, has outgrown this treehouse, it's too small to contain our guilt. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thanks, Susan. Good luck with the chat book. I'm sure we'll see you before it's published, so you can give it a plug.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, good luck with it, and thank you for those poems. They were fantastic. Thank you. Okay, next up is one of the trio of people who sort of responsible for putting Speakeasy on. It's welcome to Amanda Steele. Amanda.
This poem's from the workshop that Andy runs, and the prompt was "My life according to you." My life according to you is based on your own interpretation, but it's like a jigsaw with missing pieces, as complete as a car without wheels, or like shaking an 8-ball until it gives you the answer you want. You try to shake me, but I stand my ground. My life according to you is like a news article with the what, where and when, but it's missing the who and why, like a burger meal without the fries, or an old cassette with the beginning of the song cut off. Because you didn't start recording in time, you missed the beginning of my story. My life according to you says more about you than me, and I'll never change your mind. Who cares if the dress is red or gold? I see gold and you see red. You look at me from a distance with a mirror standing between us. And this next one, I'm putting together a collection of spoof clickbait articles. And this one's called "How I Made £1 Million as a Writer and How You Can Do the Same." Tired of your day job and wish you could write all day? Do what I did and tell your boss to get lost. Then follow these simple instructions. Write a book. Publish the book online. No publisher needed. Sell the book. If the book fails to sell, do what I did and create an online course showing people how to sell their books. Use some of the money made from these courses to buy your own book in large quantities and make yourself a bestseller. Offer some courses for free. Give people just enough information to think they have a chance. But if they want the missing piece that ties everything together, they'll have to pay you £1,000. They'll earn it back 10 times over, right? Finally, and perhaps most importantly, the one crucial thing you have to do to guarantee large amounts of book sales, bestseller status and overnight profits is, sorry, send £1,000 to my PayPal account. I tell you about it. You won't regret it, probably.
Remember, everybody, send her £1,000 by PayPal. I very appreciate it.
Thanks, Amanda. Okay, our next reader is welcome to Esther Tosh. Esther.
Hiya. So the first one I want to share is one that I've rediscovered. I wrote it for a poetry slam online about a year ago, and it's in the form of a pantoum, which is, to put it really shortly, a poem that uses a lot of repetition. It's repeating the same lines. I wrote it during a time where I was convinced that I was descended from witches. So I'll, if anybody can tell me what this poem is about after I've read it, I'd be very grateful. So it's called The Day I Laid a Curse. The day I laid a curse was the day your woman who sells the crystals fleeced me for a fat druzy to ward off infatuation. That day your woman who sells the crystals helped me conjure a filthy scheme to ward off infatuation with a man, a malevolent multimedia masquerader. So I conjured a filthy scheme. I forced rose hips from Mrs. O'Hare's hedge into the man's mouth, the malevolent multimedia masquerader, until his cheeks bruised. I forced rose hips from Mrs. O'Hare's hedge into that man's chops, and now his face looks like capers. 4 weeks of bruised green cheeks. I heard his mammy got money from the local papers. And his face looked like capers, but that couldn't be his lot. His mammy got some money from the local papers, and I stole some secateurs from Mr. O'Hare's garage with the shitty lock. No, it wouldn't be his lot. And so I pruned my acrylic nails with Mr. O'Hare's secateurs from the garage with the shitty lock, so I could deftly handle the alchemical weight of the crystal woman's rock. And so with my acrylic nails no more, I inspected the druzy for its preternatural potential. And using Mr. O'Hare's secateurs, I hacked its facets into a pan. Satisfied with the potency of its preternature, I warmed jojoba oil with witch hazel and menthol, with the hacked facets in the pan. I gave the finished concoction to my malevolent man's mam. You see, jojoba, witch hazel, and menthol are remedial of poison ivy, a loathsome thistle. I gave the finished concoction to my malevolent man's mam, because she was the one from whom I bought the crystal. So there we go, that's that one, whatever you make of that. And then just, I just wanted to share a short, it's not even a finished poem. I've been writing a lot of self-reflective poetry recently because obviously I've been spending a lot of time with myself, like everyone has. So this one, I think, is called Svengali. I'm moving away from my Svengali and setting up shop in Manchester. I'm breaching her custody clock. I'm laying down abalone shell in my temple, taking shelter from the mouldy breath she summons from her belly bellows, the one that blows right through you and unfastens your soul. Now she's nothing more than a caricature vampire behind a velveteen cape. I'm kicking the toolbox and sewing nails into the carpet like knuckle bones. What used to make me feel fixed in place, what used to offer security, is now holding me back. The pin that causes the cruelest puncture, is my greatest obstacle. Thank you.
To be continued. Thank you, Lester. Thank you for that. I always remember meeting a guy once for a drink and sort of celebrated, just got his PhD in the poetry of James Joyce. He said, you know what, he said, I don't really understand it, but I just like the way it sounds. So thank you for that. That's true. Lovely. Okay, our next reader, I don't see him in Stretford. I got a name wrong that time. Hopefully I've got it right this time. Welcome to Bell, Kenyon.
I don't remember you having it wrong last time, but
I think I called you Bella by it.
Ah, all right, yeah. I mean, Belle's not even my full name, so you have to get the half right. No, I'm joking. I haven't been in a while online, so yeah, nice to see you all. There's not much like fiction going on today, so I think I might read the poetry. Otherwise, it's going to be a novel extract, which might be too in depth. So yeah, I'm going to read three poems for you. And the first one was from a prompt about having tea or dinner with yourself. So it's called Afternoon Tea with Self. We are in Ali's cafe at the end of the world. It must be, but I am sharing scones with myself at 16. Our legs gangly under the table, and much the same, though one pair wrapped in electric blue. And I find there is always an Ali's cafe to be found somewhere. She says she is ready to understand, dabbing lipstick gloss curves with napkin. I say she never will, sorry. Some things, people, you pass on from, like raves. Better to shrug the last 5 years off, like glitter. She says I am lying, of course, and I smile, for I knew she would say it. And we finish our tea like a stubborn married couple. And the second poem I've got, I think Randy's heard this one because we were doing New Mills Poetry Festival, and because I've been writing a novel, we've not been writing much poetry, so sorry, Randy. But this one's about when you're in love and you notice new things about yourself that the other person sort of gives to you because you see yourself through their eyes. And it's called Wonder. She gives him hair on his chest, downy like the otter, playful and familiar. He gives her her lips, from the pit of a plum, all spring and juice. She finds herself delicious. She has found answers. Why his spine is sculpted just so. Why his hands are warm bowls of milk. And the last poem I've got for you is one that I started writing about climate change a while back and just about dialogue, and it's called Barren Dialogue. They say heat rises when hope sinks. We put our trust in the trees, but they boiled. We watch our leaders for signs, but they melted. We clawed teeth into ice, but glaciers crumbled. Our tongues were feeble fortresses. Our words were hunger and hot air. We tried to speak about change, but all that came out was ash. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Isabel. Three very powerful short poems with great last lines as well. There's some super lines there. Our tongues were feeble fortresses. I think Isabel runs, well, I know Isabel runs an independent press based in Manchester called Fly on the Wall. So if you've got some time, go visit it and have a look at the press and maybe support. And I think there's a submissions thing and everything else. So just have a look anyway and familiarise yourself and support it as much as you can. Great. Okay. We're nearly there. I think we've got a couple of more people to come. And our next reader is Reggie Agula. Reggie.
I drink. All right, so I've been spending, of course, a lot of time on my own, so I thought we could try something different tonight. So audience participation. So you can all turn on your microphones during this, just 2 pieces. So the first piece is quite simple. I'm going to signal for you guys, and then you just reply back. So the thumb means yes, this means no, and this means maybe, okay? So yes, no, and maybe, okay? And then when I do the signal, you just reply back either yes, no, or maybe, all right? Ready?
Yes.
Drink.
Drink.
All right, here we go. This is called no quarter. No one really cares, do they?
No.
No.
Everyone is living their life.
Yeah.
Yes.
And all they care is who they are sleeping with or who they wish to sleep with.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Everybody else are just everybody else are just extras.
Yes. No.
No.
Maybe.
Friends and family matter.
Yes.
Yes. But when choice arrives, it's all about sharing a bed.
Yes.
Yes.
But if you prefer to keep your bed empty and open a bottle of wine, just give me a call.
Maybe.
Drink.
Drink.
All right. The next one is called the Lemon Song. Now, it works like this. This is if you identify yourself as a woman in the female gender. That's ladies. This is if you identify yourself as a man or whatever. So basically, ladies and gentlemen, okay? So again, I'm going to read the line, I'll signal, and if it's this, the ladies will reply yes, okay? And the gentleman will reply no, okay? So ladies say yes, and the gentlemen say no, but don't
What
worry.
if you're both or neither?
You can work both ways. Do whatever you want. If you're not sure, if you're sure, if you want to be everything, just remember this is yes and this is no.
Did you get that, Esther? You can work both ways.
It's fine. All right, here we go. This is called Lemon Song. We all disagree to agree. You have to say yes.
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 No. All right, let's start again. This is yes and this is no. So one more time. We all agree to disagree.
Yes.
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 Take nothing for granted, even though I regret everything.
Oh.
No.
No.
It is what it is.
Yes.
Yes.
Time heals all wounds.
No.
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 So life is like a box of chocolates. No surprises. Whatever's on the outside is the same as in the inside.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
And if you wait too long to pick, you only get oranges.
No.
No.
And no matter what choice you make, take one, take two, take none, take almond, take all, take cherry, there's always a tiny feeling of guilt.
Ooh. Yes.
Maybe.
No idea.
Thank you very much.
You are bonkers, mate. Honestly, what you love, we love you.
We love you.
Lord, I know it's right.
Thanks,
The
Reggie.
voice is in my head.
Yeah. Thank you for that. It's a good job we got somebody next who can follow it. So yeah, okay. Thank you, Reggie. And our last reader tonight, last but by no means least, and seeing out the end of a fantastic night, is Ant Briscoe.
Oh, thanks. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Is everything okay? Wonderful. I'm trying a slightly different new setup this night. So Yeah, if you can all hear me, cheers. But yeah, so very quickly, the first poem I'm going to do, I wasn't going to do, but I will do it now. The second one is, I've been writing to music recently, and I've made 2 animated videos about it. One that's actually filmed, the other one's animation. And you can find that on my Instagram, maybe Freelance Artist, or on my Facebook, which is just me, Anthony Briscoe. If you're going to add me, please send me a message first, because I have had some lunatics recently. But yeah, this is the first poem. It's called The Hand of Hope. It goes like this. The hand of hope was held towards mankind, and within its palm was nothing more than love, peace, prosperity, and salvation. And mankind, in its fetid claw, pushed that hand aside, with the same hand caressed the face of God and spat in his eye. And God, in its infinite wisdom, held his hand aloft the flame of life, to put it out, to be seen no more upon this stage. Mankind is nothing more than a newborn baby crying into an ever indifferent sky. Which, upon reflection, was the worst Tinder bio I ever wrote. So the second poem is, it's one that I put to music. It's an animation that I made, and it's about dyslexia and neurodiversity. I am a dyslexic myself. It's a spectrum, so trying to explain to someone how dyslexia works is very difficult, especially when they ask you to write it. But it's a different thing. So this is about my experience of dyslexia and why I do creative things and how I try to work around it from a child. I learned that I struggled to write from an early age. I wanted to tell the story that was in my head, but it gets lost in transition to the page. Words sometimes elude me. Growing up, I couldn't seem to keep up with the other kids. What is it they knew that I didn't know? I remember a teacher once saying that I might just be a little slow, but I didn't think so. I mean, I could read. I got through the magic key books, you know, Biff, Chip, Kipper and Floppy, and I got through other required reading with speed, but I knew what words looked like. I could hear them, understand them, and visualize them in my head as I read, but that's where they stayed, in my mind, as if trapped behind a wall in my head. B-A-R-R-I-E-R, that spells barrier. I wasn't hopeless. I would be able to verbally inform you of the story I was telling, but when someone came to see what I had written, they, like me, got lost amongst the spelling. Spelling spells, S-P-L-L-S, spells, like magic. That's what spelling seemed to me. I wanted to tell you stories about robot knights and dragons in distant galaxies, but in the process of processing my procreational thoughts into a coherent collection of words for a story for a reader to digest, I would fail at the fundamentals, like, I don't know, spelling wizard with an S. E-M-B-R-A-R-R-A-S-S-E-D. Embarrassed. I was embarrassed. And I wasn't knowing that I wasn't very good at writing, nor that parts of my brain are caught up in some sort of existential fighting, having to reread sentences to make sure they fully sunk in, being asked to write a coherent essay in a set time limit under exam conditions would make my head spin, but I was lucky because I found another way to give the thoughts and feelings and words that were in my head, and that was through being creative. It was like a door was open for me, a communicational tool I could use and not feel like an oddity, a chance to explore the frustrations I felt struggling to get the sequences to sequent correctly in order to earn that grade or explain myself and play my hand against the hand that my brain had played itself. So that is what I did. C-O-N-F-I-D-E-N-C-E spells confidence. I see things more as pictures and images in my mind, and yes, reading and writing might take me a little bit more time, but if that is a barrier to me, it's a barrier I can and will climb. And in truth, I kind of like that. I don't think I would give it up. I want to own it like it owns me. Like, maybe I like that I see the world differently. I see words as pictures. I see sequences that may can be broken. I explain myself and express myself better than what I want to say is spoken. I see that I have an issue with my learning, but I've done my best to never let it hold me back. I have taken time out to figure out the best line of attack, and it's simple. It's just owning the fact. But why did I write this? Which, ironically, I did struggle with. I got a feeling that I must tell you that what you think is a failing of yours might actually be a plus, and to celebrate the diversity found in all of us. So yeah, I struggle with words sometimes, and I found out how to work and happily muddle on through, and that has led me right here, performing my poetry to you, and I'm happy. Don't let what is considered your flaws be locked doors. Maybe they're just a key, another way to see the world in all its diversity. Just keep going. That's that one. Don't think I've got time for anything else, but thanks so much for listening.
Thanks, Ant. Sometimes it's about, well, I think all the time it's about quality rather than quantity. So thank you for that, mate. Great stuff and a great way to end the night. Folks, brilliant. Thanks for coming tonight, and hope to see you again soon. I'm going to hand over to Andy to say a few things, to say one or two messages, and then we'll wrap up. Okay, Andy.
Cheers, Steve. Yeah, it's been a brilliant night tonight, guys. Really, really enjoyed it tonight. And thank you, everybody, for attending. Yeah, I'm not going to add much more to what Steve said, really. The next one will be, all been well, the first Wednesday of May, and I'm not counting what day that is. I'll put it all on the Facebook later.
I think it's the 5th. Is
it the 5th, is it? I've not checked. I've got my diary with me tonight, so I think it's the 5th, yeah. I'll be taking bookings either way from this Sunday, as normal, at midday, either on my Facebook page, and you all know that anyway, so, or email, which is, I'll put it in the feed now for when Steve wraps up. But it's been a brilliant night, guys. So me and Amanda want to say thank you to everybody tonight as well as Steve does. It's been tremendous.
Andy, just a quickie, mate. Did you want to say anything about Saboteur?
Oh, God, yeah. Reminds me.
Like 2 hours left in the vote.
Yeah, well,
What to nominate.
Well, if you don't want to vote for us in the Saboteur Awards, apparently Amanda's saying there's about 2 hours left. So as soon as you wrap up now, get straight to the Saboteur Awards. But Speakeasy, Stretford.
Yeah. Well, anyone who's voted for the night, that's fantastic, and maybe next year if not. All right, folks, we'll see you when we see you. Hopefully see you next time, okay? Thanks, everybody. Great night.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Brilliant stuff, guys. Good night.
Bye.
See ya. Great night.
Cheers. Bye. Bye, people.